Think about this for a second. An AI can access, well, pretty much everything. Every dictionary, every movie, every book ever written. But how does it take all that raw data and turn it into an English lesson that actually connects? A lesson that makes a real person feel seen and engaged and, confident. That's the real puzzle here.
So that gets us to the big question for today. Can an AI really teach you English? And look, we're not asking if it can spit out grammar rules. We know it can do that. The real question is, can it truly teach? Can it build that rapport, create context, and make you feel good about learning? Today, we're going to find out by kind of reverse engineering a blueprint for it.
Okay, check this out, because this is where it gets really interesting. On one hand, you've got the AI approach. Take, verb, to lay hold of something with one's hands. It's correct, sure, but it's so robotic, right? It's just data. Then you have how humans actually teach it. You take a bus, it takes time. You take a photo, you take my advice. It's messy, it's based on real life, and that's the gap we're trying to figure out how to cross.
So how do we build that bridge? Well, a good place to start is to look at what's already working. We're going to deconstruct the super successful human-led Talk Nora video format. And their secret sauce? It starts with something so simple, this one sentence. Hi everyone, we are so happy you are here with us today. It has nothing to do with vocabulary, it's all about connection. It's like saying, hey, we're glad you're here, we're in this with you.
All right, so here's the game plan. This is the blueprint we're going to build, one an AI could theoretically follow. First up, we'll see how conversation creates context. Then, we'll dig into how they move from chat to checklist, turning a casual talk into a real lesson. And finally, we'll get into the stuff that feels really human, practice, praise, and that all-important connection.
So let's jump into our first section. What's so brilliant about this method is that before they even think about a grammar rule, they build a foundation. The entire lesson, and I mean the whole thing, is built on a simple, natural conversation. It's not a boring lecture, it's just a chat.
And look at how they structure it. It's so smart and it's super simple. It's basically a three-step flow. They start with a little warm-up chat, a quick, how are you doing? That leads into the main conversation on a specific topic. And only after all of that, once you're comfortable and have all this context, then they start breaking down the language. The learning is completely grounded in a real conversation first.
So what are they even talking about? Well, take a look.
New Year's plans, upcoming travel, looking back on the year. You see the pattern here? This isn't textbook stuff. This is, well, it's life. It's things we all think about and experience. And that's the key. It immediately gives you a reason to care about the words you're about to learn. You know exactly why they matter.
All right, so the friendly chat part, we've got that down. That's the foundation. But how do you actually turn that into a lesson? How do you go from just talking to actually teaching? This next step is the crucial link. And honestly, this is where the magic really happens.
Let's take a real example. So they're chatting about the new year, and the word resolution just pops up naturally. One of the hosts even jokes that it's a long word. And then later, after the chat is done, they double back. They stop and define it. A promise you make to yourself for the new year. It's that simple. And because you just heard it in a story, the definition just clicks. And it's not a one-off thing. They do the exact same thing in their travel chat. Emma mentions she has a layover in London, and then boom, after the story they define it for you. It's a stop at an airport. See? By hearing the word in a real story first, the definition has somewhere to stick in your brain. It's not just a random word on a list anymore.
And they don't just do this for vocab, they do it for grammar too, which is awesome, because grammar can be tough. Take a verb like have. It can be a nightmare for learners. But instead of throwing a bunch of rules at you, they break it down into what you could call families, present, past, and future. It's kind of like a family tree for the verb. What looks super intimidating suddenly becomes this neat, organized checklist. It makes something really complex feel totally manageable.
Okay, so this brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. And honestly, this might be the most important part. It's the most human part. This is the emotional core of the whole thing. Because it's not just about knowing the words, right? It's about having the confidence to actually say them. And this is so crucial. They don't just let you sit there and listen. They pull you in. They create this active loop with 3 simple words. Repeat after us. And that moment, that's everything. That's when you go from just passively listening to English to actively speaking it. It sounds like a small thing, but it is a giant leap for building your confidence. And here is where it goes way beyond a normal lesson. Just read this. Learning a language is brave. You are all brave. Wow, that's not about grammar, is it? That's about empathy.
They're looking right at the learner and saying, "We see you. We know this is hard." They're not just teachers at this point, they're your biggest cheerleaders. They get how vulnerable it feels to learn something new.
And this just takes it a step further. We all know learning a language is not a straight line, right? There are good days, and there are really frustrating days. And by saying this, they're telling you they're going to be there for all of it. They're building this little community. It turns a single lesson into a real relationship, and that's what keeps you coming back.
So there you have it. That's the blueprint, deconstructed. You've got the conversation to build context, the simple breakdowns to make it clear, and all that praise and support to build confidence. Now for the big question, how would an AI actually stack up against this very human model?
All right, let's put them side by side. On the human side, what do you get? You get empathy, that real-world flavor, and genuine encouragement. They know what it feels like to struggle and succeed. Now the AI, what's its superpower? Infinite patience. It's available 24/7, and it can personalize a lesson for you instantly. They're two totally different toolkits, but you can see how they could actually work together, right?
So that leaves us with one final big thought. The blueprint itself, it's crystal clear. You could absolutely program an AI to follow these steps. Tell a story, define a word, make someone repeat it. Check, check, check. But can an AI learn the most important lesson of all? Can it learn to mean it when it says it's happy you're here? Can it genuinely make you feel like you're brave for trying? That is the real question, isn't it?